All right, let's just talk with Elly De La Cruz. I mean, I watched this dude, and you could lob it back to the pitcher. He steals second. You can, hit a ground ball back to the pitcher. He can score from third. I mean, does everything you're trying to teach young players how to do, how to pay attention, and things like that. I mean, what's the talk like in Cincinnati? I know the team's not winning a ton of games. They're got some talent, but they're maybe a year or two away from really be competitive. But what's the talk like around town of Elly De La Cruz?
Well, I wrote the other day, guys, that dog days had come early for the Cincinnati Reds. That's when they lost those 3 straight games over the weekend to the Detroit Tigers. And then Elly energizes and sets the tone in the first inning of the Monday night game against Colorado, a game they go on to win 12-6. More than anything, in my estimation, even beyond his extraordinary skill set, which is God-given, his ability to set the tone and raise the level of his teammates when they're going through really dog times during the course of a year when they're struggling. He can literally put a team on its shoulders, and he can do it and not feel like the weight of the world is on him. He just loves it so much. And when you talk to David Bell, the Reds manager, that's what comes across. Yes, we have to, kind of put the reins on him a little bit and make sure that he doesn't play completely irresponsibly and take off for bases when he shouldn't. But for the most part, Elly De La Cruz can do things that no other player on the roster can even think of doing. And, I thought it was interesting after the game the other night, on Monday night, Andrew Abbott, the winning pitcher, said he'll do things that we won't see anybody in baseball do, and that's why he's our all-star.
Totally agree. And we've been, singing the praise to Elly De La Cruz in this studio for 2 years now, and it does still feel like a secret to the rest of the country. People know who Shohei is. People know who Aaron Judge is. And I know Major League Baseball has a problem with promoting stars, but the All-Star Game should help. But when will the rest of the world find out about Elly De La Cruz? Like, what needs to happen? He's learned English. He's trying to do the things that Mike Trout has been asked to do on social media and stuff. But when is everyone else going to come around to this greatness that we're seeing play shortstop?
That's a really simple question to answer, Ben, in my estimation, when the Reds start winning on a consistent basis and when they start playing toward the top of the division and the top of the National League. The Reds show signs here and there of being a good team, a promising team, but they have to do it. They have to demonstrate that they are a quality team, top to bottom. Then their star players get elevated, and that's when you'll start seeing Elly De La Cruz more exposed around Major League Baseball. Look, the Reds are not on Sunday Night Baseball at all this year, and that tells you all you need to know for how the Reds are regarded around baseball. And, you can go disrespect, you can use whatever term you want to use, but until they start playing at a high level, like the other team, Major League team in town, the Bengals, when they got Joe Burrow and then they started winning and getting to a Super Bowl, things changed. Well, that culture can change here in Cincinnati with the Reds, but they have to get to the playoffs. They have to win a playoff series. And then, I think the excitement will grow not only here in Cincinnati, but across baseball.
Talking to our good friend Mike Petraglia. He covers sports for CLNS, NFL, NBA, MLB, college sports, everything. Let's turn to the Bengals right now. And we see Joe Burrow all over the news for, going to Paris and doing all this other stuff. But how is his health? How's his rehab coming? And how's the rest of the situation? Because I know you got a lot of contract issues with some of the Bengals.
Yeah, and I would tell you, Dibbs, that everything that I saw from Joe Burrow in the off-season workout programs checked all the boxes. They wanted to make sure that he could throw the ball with some authority, maybe not 100%, but that his wrist would respond the day after, a week after, 2 weeks later, after he started throwing the ball with purpose in early May. He checked all those boxes, no problems. He did experience soreness. He did experience some discomfort, but that was to be expected. Like he told us early in the offseason, I went through the ACL. It's probably going to be very similar situation where, it took me a year after my ACL surgery and reconstruction to feel 100%. It's probably going to take him a good, 10 to 12 months to feel like that wrist is back 100%. He's going to also have to take a hit or two or three on that wrist and make sure that it responds and recovers. Because when you play in the NFL, you can't go without contact. You can't go without some violent contact and getting hit. And once Burrow goes through that in a game, I think that's really the next stage. But I have no doubt at this point that Joe Burrow will be ready for the season on September 9th when it begins.
Man, Trags, you're right. I was looking at the Bengals schedule as you were talking. There's 6 primetime games already locked. There's a couple TBDs, nice. So there could be some more. And starting off with New England and Kansas City, that's I'm sure that you like that. One of the, I think, underrated offseason moves in the NFL was Joe Mixon going to Houston. And like a lot of people around here thinking Saquon to Philly, that's obviously a monster move at the running back position. But I think replacing Joe Mixon might be a task for the Cincinnati Bengals. How is Zach Moss handling things as being the number one? Because I don't think P. Ryan's back, right? Like P. Ryan's gone as well for the Bengals.
Right. So their running back room, I think, is going to be good. May not be great at the start, but it's good. And that is based on second-year player Chase Brown out of Illinois. They saw a lot of good things out of him in the second half of the season. He didn't get a lot of reps, but I think his workload is certainly going to increase this year. And Joe Burrow is going to look to him more and more, not only in the run game, but in the passing game as well. Zach Moss, anybody who watched Hard Knocks off-season with the New York Giants knows how highly regarded Zach Moss was by the Giants. The first name in terms of free agent running backs that came up in that series was Zach Moss. I think he has the potential of being a really good hidden secret weapon for the Bengals offense. I think the Bengals offense is going to be much more versatile this year than it was last year, and I think that's something that's going to really help Burrow going forward. I think the running back game is going to evolve from training camp into the preseason, into the regular season. It's going to be evolving. They just need to make sure their running backs are healthy. That's all.
Trags, always great to catch up with you, my man. We appreciate your time. I know you got to run to your own show. You're doing a lot of filling and hosting on ESPN Radio there. One of our affiliates for iHeartRadio, so we appreciate your time, my man.
All right, Dibs. Ben, thank you very much. Have a good one.
Thank you, Trags.
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys.